Hello, and welcome to our program. This is the Porch Ideas Network with your host, Dave and Mary Morris.
Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mary.
Welcome to our audio program featuring experts and fellow porch lovers who share tips for creating a fantastic porch and yard.
We are very excited to have you on our porch today, so let's get right to our topic.
Well, Mary and I are really excited today because we are very fortunate to have Bob Lyons, who's a partner in Outdoor Lighting Perspectives out of Nashville, Tennessee. They service the Middle Tennessee area, and we are really excited because this is one of the premier outdoor lighting companies, and we know we're going to get a lot of good information today. So, Bob, welcome to the porch.
Yes, welcome, Bob.
Thank you. I'm glad to be with you.
Good. And could you just give us a little bit about your company, a little bit of information?
Well, Outdoor Lighting Perspectives has been around for about 30 years, serving the Middle Tennessee area. And the part we're going to talk about today, besides doing landscape lighting, we do Christmas lighting from about October to actually start taking down stuff and finish up probably in the end of July. Wish it was. End of January. So that's it. But we put up, we design, put up, take down, store, and then do the same thing over the next year. So people really don't have too much invested in time and falling off ladders and things like that. So that's the reason.
That's really great.
Very good. So when it gets towards the fall, like it is this time of the year, it's not too early to start thinking about what kind of Christmas or holiday lighting you're going to have, right?
Right, and we have people that call us in July.
That's
it. So, but we can't put it up. It's like when we have a nice sized job right now. You got to consider that there's leaves on these. Happen to be crepe myrtles. You can't wrap crepe myrtles with leaves on it, so we had to pull off of that job, which we would like to, and we'll put it on when the leaves drop off. And that's something that a homeowner might want to think about. It's hard to wrap a tree or wrap things that have that are going to lose their leaves.
Right, that have foliage now.
Yeah, foliage.
Yeah.
Evergreens you can do it any time, but deciduous trees you have to worry about.
Well, very good. Well, Bob, if I'm a homeowner and I want to create a really nice light display for the holidays, what are some things that I have to consider in general?
You first have to decide what color you want to use and whether you want to. It's changing a little bit now. It was all white or clear, and then you have to decide whether you want to augment it with different features like starbursts and pre-worked Santa Clauses, and that big thing now is the blow-up ones and all that. Mm-hmm. We don't do a lot of that because that's a homeowner type of thing, and that I enjoy it. I mean, it's going into Halloween, and they're doing it with big. But then you have to decide that. Then you have to decide it's better to do it really well in a certain area than trying to broaden it out in the whole and not do a really good job all over. And it's gotten a lot easier over the last, we actually sort of dropped out of the business for a while because incandescent, people always want to have more than what their power can cover.
Yeah, that's a huge consideration.
And when you start plugging in, people don't realize, they say, well, you need to take the plugs, you need to do this, you need to do that, because any outside plug has a ground fault, or should have a ground fault protection on it. And to be honest with you, if it's a 1,500 watt capacity circuit or 1,800 watt capacity circuit, if you put more than about 600 or 700 watts on that, the first time it rains, no matter what you do, there's a good chance that ground fault is going to kick out. So you're having a party Saturday night, it's raining, and all of a sudden your lights are not working. You got to walk out behind the bushes, push ground faults, and sometimes they hold, sometimes they don't. So with the advent of LED lighting sets, and actually LEDs now, if you put wreaths up, if you put garland up that's wrapped, most of it's LED. Okay. And people are a little afraid of LED because they see blue as, and that's what the first LEDs were out there, really blue. That stark, they call it cool white.
Yes.
And even in household LEDs, it got a bad name.
Well, outside lights, those LEDs look like they're too commercial.
Well, they're blue. They're bluish. They're bluish. But now, LEDs can be made in any color. So now, 90% of almost 100% of the stuff we put up in clear is what we call warm white, which is if you had a incandescent system and an LED system, you couldn't tell the difference. Where you do get the difference is when the color, when you use colors, whether it be multi, blue, yellow, whatever you do, reds, LEDs are what they call saturated. Saturated, which means that they are true red. So when you look at it, anybody can tell an LED multi over, because with incandescent you're changing the color with a coating on the outside of the bulb.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Where an LED, the actual LED is putting out only blue light or only red light or only green light. So you don't have any softness. It's a really, it's a vibrant, really vibrant color. And if you use that in the design, it makes it really look good. But you have to understand that you're going to get a little different color than what incandescent is.
Going back a little bit on the power requirements, just to hit that, because that was a big issue. Well, there's two things that you mentioned that we want to hit back on. One is power, and the other one is the actual decorating in specific areas, kinds of things. But the power thing is, normally can you plug in outdoor lights just in your existing branch circuits, or is it better to run a separate,
no
depending on how many lights you
No
have?
problem. Well, especially with LED, because if you think about LED, if you use 300 watts of incandescent, you're going to use 30 watts of LED. So you've got almost, if you figure 20%, that's a safe thing. It's less, more than 10, less than 20. So somewhere in the middle there, depends on the sets. You can add a whole bunch more lights on LEDs without getting to that 600 to 700 100-watt units, or where your ground faults start to kick on. But outside plugs are fine. If you're going to do some just Christmas vacation, you better go to NES, go to electric supply, your electric company, and say, please run another transformer to my house. But no, normal stuff you would do it on. And you can always go and plug into one in the garage, plus outside, so you can split it up. You can even go inside a window and take an extension cord and plug it in there, as long as they're not on the same circuit. And be careful in the garage, because of the fact a lot of times you have a refrigerator out there, or a freezer out there, and if you pop that circuit, then that freezer, and all of a sudden that's a problem. So just be careful there. If you're only putting 20 sets on or 30 sets on, nothing's going to happen. But if you're going to put 100 sets on, then you might have a problem. So that's what you do.
Well, speaking kind of along the same line, when you get the packages of lights, from the store, sometimes it will say you can only string like 3 of these strands together. So what if you have like porch columns and the 3 strands aren't long enough? So what can you do about that?
Well, the LED also solves that problem too, because what's happening is it's the wire size that determines how many string sets you can put together. And it's the wattage used on those wire sets. So if you think about it, if you're using 33 watts, which is a typical 100-watt incandescent, and it's a 22 gauge wire, then you can run 3. If it's 20 gauge wire or an 18 gauge wire, you can run 6. And most of the commercial sets, you can run 6 incandescent. But you go to LEDs, you can run probably, some of them say up to 25.
Oh my goodness.
So you don't have to worry too much about that. But still, conservatively, don't run a lot of string sets on there. Break them up. You can run extension cords and just pop another one in. And now these new power units that plug in or drive in the ground have 6 different plugs in them, and they're timed off of it. So we don't use those, because we find that the best timer that you use out there is the one that you plug in, and it has 4, 6, 8 hours, and it comes on at dusk, and it goes off 4, 6, or 8 hours later. That's the best way, and most of those have 2 prongs on them too. So if you use them in 2 separate places, you might have half your lights come on maybe a minute or 2 earlier. It depends on how sensitive photo cell.
Another thing that you had mentioned
Uh-huh.
that I picked up on was get back to design kind of,
Uh-huh.
of the lights around your house and things,
Yes.
or even on your porch specifically. Is you're talking about focus on a certain area rather than trying to go
Mhm,
all
mhm.
out. So
Well,
can
we
you elaborate on
like,
that?
and especially if you're doing a porch and it's got a fire pit out there and everything else, you might want to extend out from the porch and light some things. If it's in a backyard, so where you're enjoying it,
Mm-hmm.
you might go out and do some things on some trees and some things out there to give some depth to your house, to your backyard. So you're looking out there, you're with that there. Even if you're looking from inside out, it's better. But we like to personally use a lot of whether it be artificial or real greenery, where we wrap the units and put bows and things like that on it, and it's easy to wrap, and a lot of the artificial stuff comes with lights already on it, and just plug it in. And you asked about columns. That's a great way to do columns, to do it. And then you can also do on a porch. You can do the railing and do it that way too. That gives you there. The greenery gives you some extra added, rather than just having a string of lights out there.
Yes.
And you're noticing the lights. This, you're getting a whole atmosphere of
And during the daytime also.
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah.
Definitely looks
Now in the front, we like to use a lot of wreaths, lighted wreaths. We like to use a lot of garland. We use a lot of flat, what we call flat, like Santa Clauses and Starburst and things like that you can hang on walls. There's another couple of new things that, matter of fact, we're giving away one for each thing. It's a projector. It's a laser projector that throws up on the wall.
Yeah.
They've just really made a breakthrough in price-wise. They were up $500-600, and now $60, $70, $75 you can get one that'll throw. Works fairly well on most things, but it's a combination thereof. And I don't like to have blow-ups in the front yard and nothing on the house.
Mm-hmm.
And my house, we do something weird, and one of my guys is determined this year to do it. It's a 50-foot maple tree that we hand wrap all the way up, and then we put on the outside. We go all around it, and then he wants to set it to music. We have a unit that'll go jingle bell rock, and they come on and off.
Oh my God!
You can go that far.
Yeah.
That's more Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
Or you can just wrap the garland around the front of your posts on there, and just have lights with a nice red wreath. With a nice wreath with a red bow.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun. Well, speaking of trees or places that are high or whatever, do you have any tricks of the trade for how you either hang lights on trees or put them on the soffits or whatever?
I really shouldn't give this, because then people will start doing this. But it's real easy. What we do is you take, strangely enough, you can do about a 25-foot tree from the ground without thinking about it. And the way we do that is you go to the home supply store, Home Depot or Lowe's,
Right.
and you get the extended units that you might use for rollers, paint rollers.
Oh, sure.
And it can go up to 18 feet, because it's a telescoping. And then you
Mm-hmm.
take the paint roller, and strangely enough, if you think about this, it comes up and then goes to the right, goes up, and then the roller.
It's like a hook.
Bend that so the roller part goes straight up.
Okay.
Rather than and take everything off of it, so there's no, the roller's gone, the parts that hold the roller on and everything else. So now you have basically a hook, and you put the string sets together, and one person walks in front of you, and they're keeping it out that way, and you just go around the tree and around the tree and around the tree, or you go up to the point, loop it over the top, bring it back down, tie it, go back up, and keep on going. So that gives you. Normally one person can do a tree that's maybe 12, 13 feet. Takes two people to do one, but husband and wife team can do it without too much trouble.
But it's nice that you don't have to get a ladder out.
No ladder, no ladder. And the nice thing about people, and this is something that you need to think of, and I don't mean to bring in other things, the spacing on the lights.
Yeah, we were talking about this morning in our porch, actually.
Yes.
We were talking about
What happens is on the spacing on the lights, the less expensive lights that you get at you know at the discount stores,
Mm-hmm.
the wire is the most expensive part on the deal. So they put
Mhm.
them every 2 inches or 2.5 inches.
Okay.
Well, when you're trying to light a tree, you need 6 inch spacing because of the fact you don't want to. You're putting too many string sets, and you're too close. It doesn't help on a
Okay.
big tree or on any kind of tree.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you're on a low yew or evergreen, it's still better to 4 to 6 because you can do more with it. Because one might be 16 feet long for 100 lights.
Yeah.
The other one's 33 feet long for 100 lights. So
Yeah.
you've got that problem. You've got that opportunity to do a lot more. You can always bunch them closer,
Mhm.
but you can't expand them out. You can't make
Mhm.
them extend them out.
So can you buy lights with different kinds
Yeah,
of spacing?
you can buy lights with different kinds of spacing. Let's see, normally when you go to the store, look for a commercial, and if they'll have commercial, look at what they're spacing on. Very few are 6 inch spacing.
Okay.
Most are 4 inch and then 2.5.
Mm.
We buy them, and I'm sure you can go on the internet and buy commercial 6 inch spacing units. We just ordered 3,000 sets of warm
Just
white.
3,000.
Yeah,
Just
3,000 sets
Yeah.
of warm white. That
Yeah.
augments what we already have. We've got a
Yeah.
whole thing
Yeah.
that we keep in here. But that's something that's a little secret that 6 inch spacing is better than
Then,
Yeah.
then
And
And if
we were
you-
just talking about that.
Yeah, I never really thought about it before until I
Yeah.
was thinking about this.
and then outlining your house, which is
Yeah.
becoming it went out of vogue completely.
I know, it used to
It
be
went
real
out of vogue.
popular.
It used to be. Now it's back in. Well, there you can either buy sets from the store, and they're the old fashioned what they call C9s, which are the bigger versions.
Okay.
But now you can buy them in LED. But the way we buy them and the way I would do a house is you always have something left over on the set.
Yeah.
You got to either
Oh,
hang them down. You have to
yes.
do something else.
Yeah.
Well, you can buy. We buy them in 1,000-foot rolls, and they're 1 foot spacings. Every one foot comes one spacing, and we can cut it to exactly what we want.
Oh, okay.
So if you need 14 feet, you get 14 feet. If you
Mhm.
need 100 feet, you get 100 feet. And
Mhm.
with LED, you can run 100 lights, where
Okay.
with incandescent, you can't run 100 lights.
Right.
So because it would start to do it.
Good.
But you're going to see more and more outlining of that. And you normally with outlining, you want to use a larger bulb, a larger presence rather than a little
Sure.
Little
Mary-
lights.
what we
Sure.
call midget bulbs, or
Okay.
Mhm.
I think GE's got the thing of Merry Midgets, but that's their brand. But C9 is everybody that is over 35 will know what a C9
It's
is.
the
That's
large
the big
bulb.
one.
Yeah.
And then C7 is the little one that used to be on Christmas trees all the
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Are those icicle lights still popular?
Icicle lights are still popular. And matter of fact, they're coming out with new ones. We've got what they call drippy icicle lights.
Oh.
They've got all these things, and people, when we go to the lighting shows, we're always interested in going to 2 or 3 of our suppliers because they'll come up with something new and different each year, and in lights, basically,
Mhm.
they're strictly lights.
Yeah.
Let's do it that way. Yeah.
So it can be kind of hard to keep up with all the new stuff. Man.
Well, yeah, but it's a fun part of the business. It's not fun when you have such a small window to put this stuff in, and because of the fact you get people. We at Outdoor Lighting Perspectives always put the customer first. We want them to be happy. We'll turn down a job if we don't think we can satisfy their time frame.
Mhm.
It's just not worth taking customers that are good customers that we're going to make them mad. So you do have a very tight time frame. And I know when I used to put my stuff up without my guys, I used to do some wild stuff out there. 25 or 30, it was a lot easier than when I was 40 or 45.
Yeah.
And now my guys say, guys, do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
You're talking about hanging the lights, on your house and things.
Uh-huh.
Special clips, any tricks?
Yeah, there's
Do that?
and you can buy those at any hardware or any place like that, discount stores. They're called shingle tabs or gutter clips.
Okay.
We like shingle tabs because of the fact they go up under the shingle and then the bulb clips on right there, so it sticks straight up.
Are those something that you keep on all year, or you take
No,
them
no,
off?
you take them off. You
Okay.
take them off. You take them off.
Okay.
When you pull down the system, they pull
Oh,
out.
they
of
pull
it.
right out.
They pull right out.
Oh,
They don't-
okay.
You don't have to get up on a ladder and do it
Oh,
again
nice,
to do it.
nice.
Now, that's something that I tell people this all the time. You don't want to go up. We tell our guys they have to keep one hand on the ladder, so they've got to be on the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be off the ladder.
In other words, on the roof.
On
You
the
don't
roof.
want them-
Okay. We actually hire when we do roof outlines, especially up top, or you're on the peak and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
We hire roofers.
Oh, okay.
And the roofers, we tell the roofers exactly what we want. We have a deal with one. Every year we pick out one. They have the light. They have they're licensed. They're bonded. They're insured. If something happens, the homeowner has no. I would not. I don't care whether you're Chevy Chase or not. You don't go up on the roof because it's too dangerous to
It
do
is
it.
dangerous.
Yeah, it's too dangerous.
We had, was it last year or year before, an individual
Yeah,
here in town that
he
fell.
died. He
Franklin,
died.
yeah.
Fell
He
off
died.
his
He
roof.
died. Yeah.
And he didn't
Very
actually
sad.
fall very far.
I know. No,
It was
you don't have
very
to
short
fall.
fall.
You don't have to fall
Yeah.
very far.
Yeah.
And the older you get, the less. I mean, we've done it before, way back when, and every time I went out there, my stomach was in my.
Oh.
You know, I couldn't fathom anymore. So we decided
Yeah.
we wouldn't do any roof, and then we came up with the idea. The roofers are not real busy at
that
certain
time of year.
times. At certain
Mhm.
times, and they love it. They do a good job, and so we just do it that way.
That's a really good tip for people. Yeah.
I've got two questions that I think just about every homeowner would want to know, and that is when you go and get your Christmas lights out from the attic. First of all, they're tangled up, and usually it's a tangled mess.
It's a
And
Chevy
second
Chase
of all,
situation.
you plug them in, and sometimes they don't come on, and it's like you have to check every single bulb. So, are there any secrets about how you wrap your lights?
Let's first do the wrap, and
Yeah.
that's the easiest way. If you take your hand, and
Mhm.
put female in
Okay.
on
Yes.
first, and put it across your palm,
Uh-huh.
wrap 3 or 4 runs, take that off, and then start wrapping, and end up with a ball,
Okay. Mhm.
that is with the male end out.
Mhm.
So you can, when you go to test them, you can plug it in
Before you unwrap
before
it.
you do it. Now, if half, this is, you got to remember, and this is something we keep on going back and forth. 100 light set is 2 50s put together.
Oh, okay.
How many times have you plugged in a set and half of them work and
Yeah,
half of them
yeah.
don't work? It's not a bulb. It means that the joint where those two are joined together, something's pulled loose.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And there is no way to fix it.
Ah.
You take that ball and you put it in the garbage
Yeah.
can
Oh, that
and
is
say,
so helpful
and
to
say
know.
thank you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we took a ton of stuff to the dump out at Williamson County many years ago, and the guy says, "What's wrong with this?" Well, half of them out. We went back like 2 weeks later today. He says, "You guys, we said we told you can't fix
Fix
them.
it.
If you want to use half the string set
Mm-hmm.
and just
Okay.
ball up the rest of it, yeah, you can use half the string set."
Right.
But there's no way. There is a way, but you don't want to fool with it. It's not worth the. I mean, those sets are less than $5. You'll spend
Yeah.
2 hours trying to fix
Trying to
it.
figure it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very
Good.
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 The new LED batteries, because see, it used to be battery lights. Used to be you have incandescent and it would draw 33 watts. Well, now
Yeah.
it's drawing 3 watts. So actually, you can use D-cell batteries on a piece of garland, and if you don't want power lines running out there, if it's and most of those are now are on a dusk to dawn, they go off fairly regularly. They're saying that they'll last. You'll have to replace once a year. You replace the batteries. So in other words, one season you'll make one
Wow.
season
Wow.
with the
With
battery.
a set of batteries.
So and that's for a front door wreath.
These? Oh.
That's for
Oh, that's
for-
a real
yeah,
good
yeah,
idea.
Yeah,
Because
it
who
really
wants
is.
to see?
Yeah,
I know
a
lights on your
light?
front door.
Well, if
Yeah.
you want to see a wire going off the front door,
Right.
and we do them on walls. We'll do 24-inch wreaths on walls because of the fact you don't want a line coming down on. Now you got to remember that even if you plug these in, these are 2 wire systems. There's no ground on any
Okay.
Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to use outside
Receptacles.
outside extension cords.
Oh, okay.
But you can use 2 wire outside extension cords.
Okay.
On them
Yeah.
to do it.
All right.
Because they're expensive, so you got to
Yeah,
you
those
try
are.
to keep and you can multiple off of
Of those.
feed off of one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good point because I bet you a lot of people just grab their extension cords from inside sometimes
Yeah,
and put them out there.
and you know, code wise, that's not. There's nothing wrong with that, but code wise, if something would happen,
Yeah.
then you would be liable
Liable
for
for
it
it.
because it codes you're not supposed to use inside extension cords,
Yeah,
outside.
outside.
Not to say that that's not done.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just-
we know.
it's just,
Good for that. So
Excuse me.
it's always
Well-
better be safe than sorry.
Mhm.
With that.
Well, I think it would be fabulous to have a company
Yeah.
like yours to come out and do the lights
Huh.
on our home.
Oh yeah.
So
that'd be-
I'd like to
oh,
ask, what
sure.
are the things that a homeowner needs to prepare for if they're going to have a company like yours come and do their lights?
Well, it's first of all they have to have some idea of what it is,
Mhm.
what they want. The other thing is that they have to decide whether they want to do it 1 year or they're going to do it multiple years. Because there's two ways to do that, at least most people do. We do it both ways. We lease the product,
Okay.
so it means that they have 1 year commitment, that's
Yeah.
it. Or we sell the product where we guarantee the product for 3 years, for 2 seasons.
Tour season.
2 seasons. So in other words,
Oh,
no matter what happens the next season, if you choose that option, you get a price. We come out, we design it. You're paying for the design, you're paying for the product, you're paying for putting it up, and then we come and take it down, and then we charge a nominal fee to keep it in our warehouse.
Okay.
Because needless to say, when you need an extension cord, oh, I got one in the Christmas light, I'll go get it. Or I need a timer.
Ah.
Well, when you go to put the lights up,
That's not there.
where's the extension cords? Where's that? This way, everything. Plus, it allows us the next year. We start in probably July, checking product that is other customers' product or our customers' product, and we make sure that we replenish. If it's got a bad string set, if it's got a bad wreath, if it's got something bad, we fix it in August and September, and therefore July, August, September, and there. Now, if we lease it, your obligation is over that. We'll put it up, take it down, and it's not yours. If you want to do something completely different the next year, you can do something completely different. Price-wise, strangely enough, it works out almost identical.
Huh.
It's not that much. Now, if you're going to get a reputable company, think it's going to be $300. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It just you can't run trucks out there with people. Our normal job are between 1,000 and we'll go up.
Yeah.
And it's some jobs are considerably. We do Loveless Cafe here. We do. We're doing Centerville's Municipal Square. We do the Christmas, the state capitol tree,
Oh.
and
that's
things like that.
wonderful.
So we do all that.
Mhm.
Now, they can get up into the 10s,
Oh.
15s, 20, 25, $30,000
Sure.
thing. But most of our homeowners are somewhere in the $1,000 to $2,000 range.
okay,
Yeah.
well, that's good
Yeah.
to know.
Now that's not to say we don't do it. I can think of one.
Well, you
that's
can
a
do
little
more
bit-
than that, I'm
yeah.
sure.
Of course.
Christmas vacation we love.
Yeah. That's great. Okay.
But you do have to plan ahead, and you can't call the day after Thanksgiving and say I need it up this week.
Yeah.
That won't happen with
Yeah.
any of our competitors
Yeah.
or us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can't do it.
And we do them. Strangely enough, we do them all the way up through the week before Christmas.
Wow.
I have turned down a job where the guy wanted us to do like $10,000, and it was 2 days before Christmas. And I said, "Why don't you donate that to somebody else?
Yeah.
And we'll do some nice ground lights for your
Yeah.
party
Mhm.
and do it." So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You don't
Takes
want
a
to
little time.
to
No.
do it that way.
Not worth it for that.
Yeah.
So, all right, boy, this has been great.
This has
A
been
lot of great
wonderful. I've learned a
information.
lot of awesome things here, Bob.
And I know our
So to
vision
wrap
will be
up,
good.
how about just telling us a little bit more about like your website? How can people get a hold of you? Anything else
Okay.
that you'd like to offer?
Well, our website is NashvilleChristmasLights.com. That's for
Christmas Lights.
ChristmasLights.com. And OutdoorLights.com is our outdoor lighting perspectives website. So that goes both ways. And I will say that Outdoor Lighting Perspectives is in probably about 45 other cities in the U.S. And a lot of those guys do Christmas just like we do.
Mm-hmm.
They're all, licensed, bonded, insured, and everything else. So we're a group of Outdoor Lighting Perspectives franchises. We're the largest one, and we do operate in the Middle Tennessee area. So
Very
good.
good.
Excellent.
Well, we are
Yes.
honored to have you on our porch
Yeah,
today,
this has been
Bob,
great.
and to talk about holiday lighting, and we hope that we can
Good to
talk
have you
with
back.
you again in the future about
Outdoor
just
lighting.
Outdoor lighting.
We'll
Other
be
times.
happy to do it. I've enjoyed this. I
This is
enjoyed
great.
it.
This has
Thank
been
you.
really
Alright.
fun.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
That was really fun talking with Bob. I really wish that we had known some of those tips earlier about like how to keep your Christmas tree lights from being a tangled mess when you pull them out in December. And
You know, I hate untangling lights.
we
They're always a
don't
mess.
like that.
They're always a mess.
It's
And
never fun.
Yeah, I like that part about they use roofing company to do their lights on the roof. That's a really good tip.
That is a really good tip.
Otherwise, it gets pretty dangerous doing that.
Yep, it's very safe to just hire somebody for that.
Today's show was brought to you by PorchIdeas.com, and we hope you stop by to get ideas for designing, building, and decorating your porch. Thanks for listening.
And we'll see you on the porch.
Today's show was brought to you by PorchIdeas.com, and we hope you stop by to get ideas for designing, building, and decorating your porch.
You have been listening to the Porch Ideas Network. We invite you to subscribe to our podcast to get creative and innovative ideas for your porch and yard.